awesome. It sounds like you guys are as excited as I am for Grand Slam Poetry Slam this afternoon, or evening rather. So we have 18 poets, 18 student poets coming up to share their art with you. They come from 5 different high schools, from 3 different school districts. And our event here is sponsored by Central Valley High School, Lakeside High School, Riverside High School, Ridgeline High School, University High School, and the Spokane County Library District. So let's give it a hand for all of those schools. And then we've got an extra special sponsor. We've got some prize money for our top poets, and that's sponsored by the Friends of the Spokane Valley Library. So let's give it done. I'm Jeff Ridlington, and I'm going to be your MC and talk you through things. So I'm going to explain how this is going to work, and I'll introduce the poets before they come up, and sometimes there'll be things that need to happen, and I'll try to be entertaining. So if you guys stay as lively and fun as you've done so far, we'll all have a good time. So before and after all of our poems, we're going to do some loud applause. So let's just warm that up. Let's do some loud applause. Doesn't that feel good? I feel good. Our poets feel good. We're all going to feel good with that loud applause before and after. But during the poems, we can also let the poets know how we're feeling. So if there's something that's really you're digging it, I want you to snap. Can everybody snap with me? Or maybe they're just really on a rant and you're just going to snap real hard to let them know you're with them. Or sometimes a poet is struggling. We want to warm up the room and let them know that we all love and support them. We're going to rub our hands together and make them feel warm and welcome. And if they give us a number we don't like, we're going to let them know that too. So, you guys, we're going to get them convinced. They're going to give everybody perfect 10s. It's going to be sweet, okay? So if you hear a number you don't like, you know what to do. Ooh, great. Now, before tonight, these judges were really lovely people. They've done some amazing things. I don't know what happened that made them turn to the bad side and try and tell us that these poems aren't perfect. But I want to tell you about some of the great things that they've done, and maybe after we change their mind and they give everybody perfect scores, they'll go back to the good work that we know they can do. So we've got Christopher Cook, who is from 2019 to 21 our Spokane Poet Laureate. And yeah, let's and we can find his poems in the collection Damn Good Cookie. All right. We've also got Emily Gwynne. Let's give Emily a lot of our events. She is a poet, educator, and co-editor of All We Can Hold, a collection of poetry about motherhood. Sounds good. I want to check that out. We've also got another former Spokane Poet Laureate. This is Mark Anderson. And he was a Poet Laureate from 2017 to 2019. Next we've got Sarah Rooney. Sarah's bio tells me that you're a nerd poet and a Harry Potter enthusiast. So, like I said, wasn't always a bad guy. I don't know what happened tonight. And then finally, we've got Seth Marlon. And Seth is an author, activist, and educator, and we should check out Shred, Seth's chapbook of slam poetry. So the poems are going to happen in 2 rounds. In the first round, the judges are going to let us hear from all 18 poets, which is what we came here to hear, I'm sure. They're going to score each performance immediately, and if the number's not a perfect 10, we're going to let them know about it, but they're going to hold up signs and let us know how perfect and wonderful these poems were. Poets receiving the top 7 scores will move on to round 2. So if we don't get it right, we won't get to hear 11 poems from the bottom 11, but the top 7 are going to move on. The 3 poets with the highest combined scores after round 2 will receive cash prizes, which once again, those prizes are sponsored by the Friends of the Spokane Valley Library. First place is $150. Wow. Second place is $100. And third place is $50. So we're talking some serious lettuce over here, guys. So, we're starting with the Sacrificial Poet because anytime, nobody wants to be the first one to go. And we don't want to make any of these wonderful, perfect poets be the first one to go. So we're all going to practice with our professional poet, who's not a student and not eligible for those great prizes. And the judges are going to score the performance for calibration. So it's our turn to practice cheering for those perfect 10s or letting them know if they got something wrong. We're going to really let them have it. So I want to introduce our Sacrificial Poet, Tuan Simultaneous.
What are you? A stranger asks, as the tongues of their pupils gripped my flesh, sterilized smiles, stretching cheeks, fitting words like fingers into gloves, wearing a cover of false emotion, able to be repulsive without getting their hands dirty. Killing the conversation, I remain dead silent. I've been asked this question before. Another scalpel of curiosity cuts through scar tissue, ravaging personal space, evicting individuality, having enough nerve that they could reanimate my limbs. Place the microscopes to my bloodline, let them see the history of half of these chromosomes unclaimed, determine me a bastard, and I hope that isn't mistaken for my name. For the other half of my DNA was built on struggles forming rhymes, skipping to the clacking of ancestors' shackles rotating in chain lines, moving to the drums of forefathers fighting foreign diseases killing tribes, the sound of traveling pockets on Staten Island rubbing together two dimes. I am the embodiment of struggle, race, and timelines intertwined, existing, had to be precisely aligned. Each day, I'm reminded that life is a mystery. Relations like my deadbeat daddy, scattered history. So many claim to be a purity, speaking on the untold lives of their families. We are predecessors of past triumphs and tragedies, constantly wiped from reality. Police brutality, shootings amassing casualties, bombs erupting, fulfilling extreme prophecies. We are not just lives, but walking, breathing legacies. The ask what I am is the ask that I open up an anthology of my history, missing every other page. Stitch me up, don't wrinkle the guts, and respect my spine. Find beauty in this hardcover. What I am is chapters too deep for you to read in minutes. Understand, my reflection has asked the same question. Many view this world like a Rubik's Cube. Separate and divide, recognized by color and categorized, inhabit the same foundation, yet restrict us to sides. Let one slide, and perfection is compromised. I leave people puzzled by just being alive. So never start our conversation asking, what am I? Instead, let our words unfurl when shaking hands. Inhabit and explore before scavenging unfamiliar land. Examine infrastructures of values and comprehend. Find peace with my exterior and learn who I am.
I see our judges are writing things on their handy little signs there. I'm afraid they're going to hold them up and I can't see because it's blinding. So I don't know how I'm going to tell you guys what score. Well, they give them perfect 10s. Woo! No? Oh, they haven't.
Oh, can we raise it?
All right, so starting on the left, we've got my left, you're right, a 9.9. How do we feel about that? Pretty good. Okay. 9.7. Okay, that's maybe not good enough, but we're gonna get to test out our other skills. 9.2? What do you guys think about a 9.2? Yeah. Two 9.0s on the end here. But that's good, we're getting ready. They've seen our power, now they're gonna give our next poet the real scores. So I'd like to introduce our first student poet, Abigail Hargett.
called Girls Gone Wild. XOXO, 2 X chromosomes, I miss being a girl of the color pink, a light rose, delicate and gentle. I was warm and soft and tender, no need for rejuvenation. I am liquid smooth. Dancing through life most irreverently, I reek of florals. Over-perfumed and decadent, breathe me in, please. I miss being a girl of the color pink, a hint of me in the sunrise. I kiss the earth good morning with my abundant warmth. A rosy sunrise, you arise to greet me with a smile, and God, do I miss being your wanted thing. A girl of the color pink, rosy, ripe and new, ready to be plucked and savored at your discretion. I am here when I'm wanted. A girl of the color pink, a perfectly wrapped package with a satin bow. I am a monochrome girl at your service. I stand at attention. Two-dimensional, but I am blushing. I pine for the softness, juxtaposing the divine feminine energy, feeling our emotions quietly with startling intensity. Like womanhood is a placement test and I am not at grade level. But I could be the eldest daughter in a Jane Austen novel, the most understated prize for the most eligible of bachelors. I could be a coquette girl, an utter flirt. My lacy sensibilities would offend you, but they're intriguing. To be a delicate ingenue, camera flashes never failing to capture my hues, but not completely. I am frozen in time, terrified to become too old to play the part of a pretty pink lover. A girl of the color pink, I find myself measuring time, not in minutes or seconds or lives touched, but in lines on my face, and boys I'll never kiss. Hyper-femininity has me in a chokehold, but I turn a shade of pink from the asphyxiation. A shade of ultra-marketable and never abrasive. I'm so pink it's taxable. I chase being a girl of the color pink, soft and uncalloused. My heart is untouched. I am kind and easy to love, filled to the brim with patience and the most palatable kind of femininity. The paint on my pink picturesque facade is peeling, but in a way that you find inviting. I radiate the color pink as I conquer it. Thank you.
Right. So we've got a 9.2. Got a 6.9. 8.9. 8.9 is. Sorry. A 9.3. A 9.1. And can you tilt it? An 8.7. All right. Yeah, you guys have got it. We want the good scores. Our next poet is Allie McGee.
How do I even start? I'm scared to start. I can't seem to finish. It's like an endless and drowning cycle that doesn't seem to stop no matter what I do, no matter what I change. I feel like I'm running, but not going anywhere. I feel like I'm falling, yet never reach the bottom. The constant noise telling me I have to go, but I'm stuck. I can't move. I want to go so bad. I want to be with the others that are moving forward. Don't leave me behind, alone, but never quiet. I don't know what hurts more, being behind or the surrounding judgment. People like to put a name to my condition. Lazy, attention-seeking. What is it though? I want to know, is it laziness? Is it fear? Is it comfort? How can something that hurts me so bad comfort me? I want to know. Whatever it is, it stings. It's suffocating. But No, I don't have much time, not enough time, slow down, I can't keep up, not enough time. So much I want to do, so much I want to see, so much I want to be, yet not enough time. Have you ever felt this? Like you want to do so much for others and even the world, but there's a wall. That stupid wall. No matter how much of the wall I tear down, it seems to be getting higher. I try to yell for help, but I'm not heard. Everyone's moving, going forward, shaping lives, changing the world. I feel truly alone, left behind.
We've got an 8.5. Can you try tilting? 7.6. 8.9. 9.3. I think we're winning them over. And then 7.9. So each school has brought an alternate poet in case one of their poets couldn't arrive. So there's people who are prepared for us to step in, and this next poet is one of those people. So she's not in your program, but our next poet we're going to hear is Karma Gentry.
Confidence, a thing that can drown you or give you wings. It's an abstract idea that is based on such minute things. Why do we care what a stranger thinks of our hair or every article of clothing that we wear? Why are we afraid to start conversations with classmates, those we work with daily? We fear rejection and we fear messing up. We're terrified to even say some stranger's outfit looks nice. Does saying this in turn make us weird? Weird. By definition, implying something supernatural, uncanny. But we are not ghosts and we are not vampires just because we tell someone their fit is fire. A compliment can save that girl from her mind, and yet it's weird. My friend, with his awkward laugh and his heart of gold, can count the amount of compliments he's received on one hand. A boy whose attractiveness once terrified me and intimidated me can recite the compliments said to them within their lifetime without even maxing out the compressed word count on an Instagram bio. I went on a bit of a rant now, and for that I apologize. But this really is something that needs to be recognized. We are social creatures, not meant to be alone. Don't curse yourself, doomed to never know how it would have gone if you would have just said hello.
Put them up.
All right, we've got a 9.3. 7.9. We know who the real villain is here. Yeah, he loves to hear you boo. Give it to him. Yeah. We've got an 8.9. An 8.5. And an 8.2. All right, up next, we're going to hear from Martin Liu.
As I reach the essay portion of my application, I am stuck at a crossroads. These 7 essay prompts are overlapping, knotted impossibly. All I see is a 7-pronged fork in the road as I try to find a college, a place that I can possibly call home. On one hand, I feel the welcoming warmth of a shelter, a college dorm, yet on the other, I feel the dark coldness of a letter of rejection posted on every front door. As I map out all routes of possible essay topics, I overthink so frantically before making a step so that I don't overstep into the wrong lane of a sob story cliche or off into the alley of something that feels more like screenplay than an autobiographic experience, something too far fabricated to have any credence. As the traffic subsides in front, I don't care to look at both sides of the road. Despite looking at the map, I don't have much of a plan, so I start running my fingers on the keyboard for the next 300 words, head straight. I run a little, hesitate, then run a little more. I can clearly see the footprints of words I've made, but it feels all too jumbled here, so I stumble. I hear, recalculating, make a turn and head back for the next 300 words. Even if I tell myself that all first drafts are so crappy, everything about what I've just written feels way too sappy. So I space back all the way into the intersection that is the essay section. It seems I can't figure out which street to walk down on memory lane. Do I go down Relearning Mandarin Road? Recalculating. Progressive Metal Street? Recalculating. Or copycat version of Amy Tan's Mother Tongue Avenue? Recalculating. As I run back and forth with each essay, I'm stuck at the intersection over and over, day in, day out, monotonous drought. Writer's block leaves me at dead ends. I am drenched in stress sweat, running mental marathons to no end. With so much distance, yet so little displacement, I'm overthinking. I'm recalculating my chances of finding home. But before reaching the end of the road, I keep telling myself to stop, even when there's no stop sign, telling myself road work ahead, even before I've worked enough to see what's ahead. Back at this intersection, I stare at the white page of the Google Doc, the white light guiding me to go. I walk carefully, finally looking at both sides of the road, knowing that with any path, I can find a home. But if I want to make it there, I can look back. I can look left. I can look right. But most of all, I must keep moving forward until I have reached my final destination, home.
All right. We've got a 9.5. A 9.1. Yeah. 9.3. Another 9.3. And an 8.9. Okay, we're getting there, but yeah, keep using your power. Power to the people. Our next poet is Solara Kelly.
Dark, twisting trees tower over my head. It's cold, almost pitch black. I don't need to see them to feel them. The monsters breathe down the back of my neck, their breath surprisingly cold. It sends a shiver up my spine. My skin begins to crawl. I need to see them to fight them, but if I light the torch, they become too real. I need to run from them to survive, but if I don't face them, they'll haunt me forever. There's not enough time. I fall to my knees, trembling. I can't breathe. After long, the monsters disperse. I catch my breath. They know where I am now. I'm in danger. It's down the path, fast, slow, cold, howls down the path. The monsters, they can smell me, they can see me. They're so loud. I have to be quiet. my foot catches on a branch, then another, crunch, 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 crunch. Every sound, it comes fast like lightning, sealing my fate. I'm too nervous to stop. Forward, closer to the beast, closer to my death. I need to turn around. I have to turn around. But it's too late. It's too late. The shadows rush at me, dark and heavy, slick like liquid. It pours into my veins, overtakes my head. I can't move, can't think. The longer they're there, the worse it gets. More come, more shadows, more ink. Up and up and up and up. I'm drowning. Their claws digging into me. They're screaming in my ears. I knew it when I walked in, that I wouldn't make it out alive. I had to know, though. I had to see how long it took. I'm not sorry. Not that I had walked in. I lament you had to deal with my remains. They're just as messy and bloody as I was in life. Maybe no one will understand why I walked into those woods. Maybe they'll be mad that I didn't survive. Maybe they were hoping for something more. We can't all be heroes.
While the judges are writing their scores, they're super fast, but I've got some other things I need to tell you guys about. So tonight's Poetry Slam is organized by the Spokane County Library District. Let's give them some love. And they're excited. Next week, the district is going to break ground on a brand new library here in the Spokane Valley. You should visit SCLD to learn more. And now the judges, they've been ready. Okay, they want to hear from you. We've got an 8.7, an 8.1. He loves it. An 8.7, 9.4, and 8.5. All right, our next poet we've got is Anthony Todd.
You know I love food, you can't try to mistake it. My caloric intake, it's always shaking. It don't matter what kind of food, you can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it. Well, there was this one time, my stomach was aching. I stopped going to Wendy's because she was too square and I was too frosty. I had to find myself a new food joint, maybe one that wasn't so costly. Then, something hit my senses. It made me feel high. It was that fresh batch smell straight out of the fryer. Golden curly hair like them fries from Arby's. It was a searing hot mama straight from the Barbie. Fiery at the touch and I had to wear an oven mitt. Make her wearing red and yellow and I was kind of loving it. I was on the border of a tall order that I couldn't make shorter. She was a full deluxe combo compared to the hors d'oeuvres. I was full of myself, but I could handle more than an entree. Her posture so spicy, Spaniards say picante. That didn't matter to me. I've had more than salsa Meyer. I put all my chips onto the table and I just started with a smile. Goldfish, that snack smiled back. I felt like I had it in the box. I was jacked. I was out of raisins. So I asked her for a date. Kind of seemed to be weird to be hungry when I had just ate, but that date aged well like some fine wine and cheese. Maybe it had molded into something, but I kept my words sauteed 225 degrees. Because I did not want that good soup for it to boil over. Simultaneously, I don't know what to do if I cantaloupe her. Because hanging with her was a Baja Blast full of fun yet. I had thoughts of a ring, and I wasn't talking onion. Have a feast and celebration, better pick out the venues, get the papers at the food court, announcements like menus. Spread that news like it's some garlic aioli. But then I had a bad feeling in me, like the stuff you get from E. coli. Although, She was the house special. I couldn't find a reservation onto her schedule. Never had time, always booked, something well done, more like overcooked. I knew it was rare, should have expected something medium. It put my body off like some high sodium. Turns out, I wasn't her favorite place, and that she liked Five Guys, and I was just a small fry. Thoughts once matronizing are now unappetizing. She milked out my feelings, and I would fall for it. But no milking no more, I'm lactose intolerant. In retrospect, it was the best for all, but it still made my heart ache. High cholesterol. Clogging up my insides, pressed down like a panini, I was at a low glucose, probably diabetes. I had a lot of sweet times, and I don't mean to offend you, but I knew that sweetness was fake, so you can call it Splenda. Fast food's lure. It messes with your cerebral. First taste is uncomparable, but for your insides, it's terrible. Now, even in moderation, it's unbearable. I've had a lot of it now, but I don't even want to buy it. Next time she comes around, I'll stick to a diet.
Here we go. We've got a 9.5, 9.3, 9.2, 9.0, and 9.1. And up next for you is Allie Aitken.
First cracks, and I crack with it. Shattered mirror of my soul, water-soluble delusions are the only things that I can hold. I feel more real when no one sees me, so I ignore all the footsteps on cold winter mornings and outdoors. January was a year ago. February, just less. Every day it feels like Wednesday, moody and purple and wound up tight. So tight that I might break with just a simple nudge. Don't try to give me that look. You know my mood won't budge. All these people, I can't stop noticing the way they laugh and lock eyes with delighted, knowing grins. I want to be the grin. The sharp, unnerving teeth. I want to be seen as a thing unchanging and already complete. The water fountain in my mind is unrelenting and flowing free. But it's only in my mind that my garden goes bright. Heart-stoppingly green. Outside, I'm a mess, collected and quiet all the same. It's a disguise to keep from being seen, to keep people from looking back on the things that I can't stand. If no one else notices it, why should I acknowledge my past? My past of walking in late, in sweatpants and all black, with too short hair, and a mind unaware of my clothing that all clashed. And considering all the things I've seen, I feel like such a dull, hollow mass. A mass of dark matter at times. I couldn't keep a conversation going if it was running on gas. If it was running on kerosene, like the oil lamps I burn, maybe then I'd have some luck. Or maybe I just have to learn how to pretend to be interesting, how to pretend to be real, something other than all these fantasies I feel, all these quick, neurotic reels that play like movies behind my eyes. Sitting in silence in the car, the dark feels just fine. Faces flash like cameras in the carousel of my mind. Like burning lights, like summer skies on my skin, like orange juice and Sprite that overflows like the fright I feel when posed, weak, and skinned in the mortifying atmosphere of being known. And now a bow, a gratifying loss of lips sealed shut with every line that leaks out of me, the home I've made of being obscured. It's flooded out by hands snapping, cameras clapping, commemorations of hollow bones, of an instrument finally played, finally owned.
Looks like they're ready again with a 9.1. 9.0. 9.0. 8.9. And an 8.5. I really don't like those 8.5s. Up next, we've got Nathan Baldwin.
This is my poem. It's called Pointless Peril. Peril. The feeling that no matter what you do, it is always somehow wrong. To turn left or right, to love or hate, I do not know what feels right. I am stuck in a sense of peril. It is as if every choice I make loops me back to the same point. It's like trying to swim in a lake, but doing it half awake. Now, make no mistake. Let's take a breather and step on the brake. This poem wasn't made to complain, so please hear me out so this isn't in vain. Life can often feel like a maze, but if we keep our heads up and our hearts ablaze, if we were to stand together, life would be so much better. Let us stop this pointless hate speech because it is pointless. There is no doubt in my mind that our labors have been fruitless. There is no point in trying to hide it. It's so pointless, it's not hard to find proof. We tried to childproof a two-headed hydra named Weinstein and Nasser. We tried to have the Me Too movement. People tried to stand up and saw no improvement. We had a call for social justice with the BLM movement. Well, we all saw how that turned out. I can stand here all day and try to argue, but no matter what I say, someone is always bound to disapprove. So I guess no matter what we do, it'll be the wrong move.
All right, we've got 8.9. You're not going to like this 8.6 then. 8.8, 8.8, and 8.5. All right, coming up next is Eleanor Brown.
You are aboriginal when you are originally original. The waymaker, the path paver, the person behind the established sign, it says, imagination. Population of one person, but thousands of lives and minds, and you are the creator. The rainmaker, the lifesaver, the soldier, fighting for lives behind enemy lines, and you, my friend, are the top. The good, better, best, the cream of the crop, the tallest mountain you could possibly fathom, and somehow, you're taller. Or you could be small, it's your imagination. After all, you could be a tiny little field mouse. Or smaller still, a beetle, a bee, or take it down, 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 way down to quantum physics, where you could be an atom, more possibly an Eve. You could be a dragon, or a mermaid, or a medieval knight fighting for his life, but I can't quite imagine why that's the way you'd want to die. You could be anything you'd want to be, and want to have anything, because the limits of your imagination is exactly that. Your imagination. Because if you have a vast, wide spectrum in your mind, then you can be anything from Father Time to a bag of dimes jingling in the pockets of a broker in San Antonio, Texas. But that's a little off the message. Now, anyways, the everyday, day life, nighttime sitting by the firelight requires your own mind's eye. So you better have perfected your own home inside your soul's home made of flesh and bone, or else you'll be out of touch. Quite literally, in the most figurative of ways, you'll be stranded on an island in the dome you call your brain because your imagination can create anything. But the lack thereof of yours can create nothing more than a small, dark spot, just big enough for your own 2 feet to stand on. And slowly, 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 it's disintegrating. Because without those 11 letters, your life is rendered lame, you're limping, you're slumping in the hole that is your brain, because you can have the smarts to dominate and congregate, but it takes imagination to create and to make. Because that little sign, with its little weathered symbols etched into its surface, read EST, 31106, population 1. one person living in one world, but in her head she's traveled to a million places, a million different worlds, because you can be the pioneer, the pilgrim to your mind. You can scavenge and you can excavate the resources that you create. So dig deep through the lies and the trying times on the surface of your mind to that juvenile place that might just save our lives. Because, after all, the lack of imagination is humanity's biggest downfall.
You guys remember that there's some cash prizes for the winners tonight. Those were sponsored by the Friends of the Spokane Valley Library. So if there's any Friends of the Spokane Valley Library in here, please wave. I'd like everybody to give you some appreciation or. All right, I'm not sure they're in here, but let's clap nice and loud so they can hear us wherever they are. These judges, the one thing I can say for them, they're fast. They're ready to tell us what we think, and they want to hear your boos. I know they do. So let's see what our scores are. All right, we've got a 9.3. Yeah, a 9.7. All right, 9.1. Okay, 9.6 we like. And another 9.1. Coming up next is Gracie Mayer.
Hi, my name is Gracie Mayer, and this poem is called It's Getting Bad Again. I wrote this in 8th grade during quarantine. It's getting bad again. My brain is turning into the dust under the pages of a forgotten book. Withering away into numb particles of air, I press my lips on the rough hardening, running my fingers through the rivet-stained pages, dust pushing its way through the drafts of paper, craving the consistency of endearing space. The dust is cramped between words I cannot pick, words that are left unused on the shelf in an empty library, words that are crisp gray, tasteless like a burnt mouth in warm water. My hands curl lines and write letters, but that's all they are, letters shouting off my hands, dripping with glass shards, sticking their importance into my skin. I bleed on motivation. Just a tragedy burrowed into the depths of my brain, bleeding from the constant, painful pumping. The sadness is alive. It's getting stronger, rocking my brain, stealing my liveliness, stitching my mouth closed. The only words I can speak are condescending. The only movements I make are meaningless. It's getting bad again. I wake with my heart beating too loud, too fast. I wake with shaky hands, an urge to cry, and the dreadful need to itch. Itch every patch of my dandruff-covered head. Itch till I spine keys poking out of my neck. Itch below my gums. Itch around my eyes and my wrinkles. Itch into my sockets, pulling the red strings of veins. I'll pull the theater eyesight skirt close and itch deeply into the abyss. Reach my hands up, crawling, moving like spiders, and push the clouds of dust off my brain. Clench the darkness in the core of my skull. Hold it and feel it breathe. Squeeze. It shudders. I want to itch deeply into its body, sharply split it, burn my fingers deep and scratch the insides. Every pace, every scared breath, the headless silent scream, shaking my brain, ridding it of all the dust that could ever build up, ripping the spine of the book and wish a terrible life of tragedy, make it feel the pain, the loud heart, the shaky hands, and the dry tears scorching my cheeks, and so much more. Make it throb as it pleads for mercy. Viciously, so beastly, rip its being into tube, and an overwhelming amount of sun and regret into its stomach feed pounds of its own medicine, but I can't do that. It's getting bad again, and what if I can't beat it? What if with my 2 feet on the stand, my voice breaks and I can't cry out anymore? What if I trip up on my words and fall flat on the floor of a burning hell? Heaven won't save me from my depression. It'll only be my own naked fist beating against my chest and my encouragement to keep going. Because soon enough, it'll be getting good again, even if just for a moment. My brain under the step cranium will make a smile with its wrinkles. It's getting bad again, but I will not let my brain beat me. I will beat my brain back and get through it.
Great poetry. And we've we've got some scores. We've got a 9.3, 8.9, 9.2, 9.6, and a 9.3. I'm sorry, that's a 9.0. Yeah, I didn't want to get your applause there. So, up next, we've got Olivia Carter.
Hi, I'm Olivia Carter, and my poem is called No Help. I'm starting to go crazy from all of this hurt. These past couple of years left me feeling so burnt. I turned to you for help, but compassion you did lack. You told me to talk to God, and then you turned your back. You say that you're there for me. You say that you care. But when I talk to you, you just give me that blank stare. You say that you understand, but you really don't give a damn. You think that God must hate me. You think he's punishing me. Do you really think God appreciates intolerant bigotry? You say that you're there for me. You say that you care. But when I talk to you, you just give me that blank stare. You say that you understand, but you really don't give a damn. You could have truly listened. That's what real friends do. People who actually love me have always seen me through. You said that you were there for me. You said that you care. But when I talked to you, you just gave me that blank stare. You said that you understand. But now, I don't give a damn. Thank you.
All right, we have got an 8.6, 8.3, 9.0, 8.6, and 8.4. All right, and coming up next, we've got Julianna Joy.
Breathe in, breathe out. Play. The first few syllables are small, quiet notes echoing through the silence. Here I am, they say. Listen. Gently they coax one phrase and then another. Strings of sound gain confidence. Lower notes resonate through your sentences, dancing an almost aria. Around and around they waltz, step after step, again and again, and somewhere along the way, a melody is born. A voice rises to the surface, louder and louder, telling the world what it thinks. It's your voice. You speak through your fingers, through the music you dare to play. You pour your sorrow and pain and joy and love. You pour your very soul into every note. And here it is, the words you've been trying to say, trying to get out, but they just refuse. They are here. Those words are hidden in the measures of music, playing hide and seek amongst the sounds. They're free. And your fingers are flying. The music swells, building and climbing the wave crests, sprinting and rising and crash. 3. Ripple. small sentences, smaller syllables, echoing in the silence. Your symbol.
Isn't it great being in a room together, listening to poems and hearing these great people? It's so exciting. All right. And we get to make our own noise now. We've got an 8.9. 9.1. 9.0. 9.3. And an 8.3. Gotta do better than that.
8.6. Last score was 8.6.
8.6, I'm sorry.
And I'm sure it still did it.
All right. Coming up next, we've got E.T. Tobaben.
I hate you, but I get it. I know what you've been through. I once stood where you are, and I promise you won't get very far unless you trust me. If you can trust me. I bet it's strange to see, to witness someone else who is bleeding on their knees. You can't see that they are deceiving because you're the one that's pleasing those above you. But your voice also drips with malice. You're too stuck up in your palace that you've been blinded. To the very throne you sit upon, leaning from dusk to dawn on the people you swore to protect. What is next? I hate you. But I get it. It was just difficult to find that someone like you, who I thought to be so kind, could be rotten all the way to your core. Your heart is beating on the floor, lying in all the hate that you've spewed. But look at you. Then look back at me. I understand you're scared to leave, but while you're waiting for salvation and debating your creation, you lost. There's just one thing that I fail to understand, how someone like you could fall beneath a man you don't even know. I hate you, but I get it. They say that ignorance is bliss, but they said nothing about this, right? To just sit back and watch as everything that you thought to be true dissolve into nothing but lies. But you know what that implies, and you can't handle that truth, because all throughout your youth you have been told that no matter how old, how broken, how different, you are loved by someone somewhere, but now you're painfully aware that's not true. I hate you, but I get it. And I know you're racking through your mind, searching in earnest just to find a single reason to believe their claims, but you and I are all the same. We both found nothing. And it's startling at first. Then man's quest for knowledge, they came up empty-handed, lacking answers, denied of any solace from those who claim that they are flawless in their reasons. But they know as much as I that beyond that bright blue sky there is nothing. I hate you, and I get it. I'm sorry that it's this way, the world's full of this foul play, that you've been tricked, conned, and deceived. It's just so hard to believe that someone like you will end up just like me. You're now a traitor to everything you once stood for denying for a second, for denying all those beckons from those who stand above you. But you're in charge of what you do, don't forget that. So I hope you realize that in this current time you are not powerless. You hate me, and I get it. I mean, I know how they describe me as the enemy I would be if that were true. But I once stood where you stand. I once fell beneath that man. By every rule I would abide, but I was cast aside like I was nothing, left to drown and then die in the ocean that he filled with lies. But that's okay, because now it's the two of us on this boat. And in order to truly float, you have to trust me. I will not steer you wrong. I can show you right from wrong only if you trust me. If you can trust me.
All right, we've got a 9.2, a 9.8, 9.1, 9.3, and 9.0. All right, we're getting tough. I like you feeling your power, folks. Up next, we've got Audrey Marcel.
We're always promised the end. It's foretold that the road once diverges to a bend. It's for certain, it's expected, it's the reaching top of the mountain, it's forgotten. When one forgets, we lose count of the days, each one blending into the next never-ending cycle of expect that the next day will always be there. It will always come after the day is done, and one will wake up to skies with the same mind as the day before, forgetting the importance of a door. In every moment, every instance, every second you receive the opportunity to breathe with air of freshness and see with eyes of substance, forgetting the chance that the next day can end up in blindness. When I was promised an end, I saw it in sight. 100 days, 100 life seconds to derive every ounce of wonder squeezed out of the world. Before the juice no longer squeezes, and the lemons grow with seeds, and the drip dries out until the drip finally stops. When I was promised an end, I remembered every second I had left with words unsaid, and books to be read, and a world to be enjoyed with only 90 days left. When I was promised an end, I looked upon elders who had finally been able to understand what grasped them into their chairs until the wrinkles started forming and the days started shortening and people began disappearing. With 80 days left, one begins to wonder where the days had gone from present to past, from 2 o'clock to 10:47, and suddenly another 20 days are gone. And you wonder when the last opportunity was that you understood the importance in the sun's heat, the grass's greenness, and the last moment was you took to feel not only wind, but feeling a breath of breeze on lips passing through each day to the next, before the final rest. They say Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. The 60 days left, the water lies there no longer, but instead the slowing drip of ability. And as bones begin to crumble and minds are left to wonder whatever happened to forgetting the promise of the end, not living for the opportunities that lie ahead. And now I am left to conspire as one of the elders I had for so long exemplified in my ignorance towards my ability, my living and incapability in not remembering the end. And so I sit here and pretend maybe I have 40 days left, or maybe the drip commends me for my want to understand the importance in the present. Thank you.
So we also have other events coming up in Spokane where we'll get to hear wonderful literature. Coming up soon is the 2022 Get Lit Festival from April 21st to 24th. Check it out online. They're both online and in-person events, so you can come out like this and have a great evening, or you can watch some stuff at home in your pajamas like I did with last year's Get Lit Festival. So we're keeping both options going, and I'm excited for it. There's workshops, live readings, and open mic, and it'll feed our creative spirit.
2, 3, put them up.
We're gonna see what they think about our creative spirit. We've got a 9.5. 9.9. I'd like to hear that. 9.3. That's all pretty good. 9.6 and a 9.0. That was 2 9.0s. Boo for me. Sorry, guys. No, boo for me. I was gonna say boo the lights, but no, that was my bad. Sorry. But here's somebody to make it better. It's Abdul Cole.
I could say I give no thoughts about you no more, but I still have the memories of broken down doors. I'm honestly torn from another family's forms, falls into discord, comfort. Well, we're still stuck in constant discourse. Flooding my mind in a storm I could never ignore, my thoughts just to get stored, and it builds and builds until it tips and falls all over the floor. That's the reason why I've written this for. I write it all out to keep my psyche around and stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about if life would be better without me, dragging everyone down. These thoughts get so loud, entirely clouding out the sound, and my head just starts to pound. There's no cure that I found. I've been left dumbfounded and astounded. Your vision was oversaturated with the fixation of drugs over the education, to the point where you thought every day was a vacation. I was inflated with stress and was irritated that a mother wouldn't help her son in her situation. Hoping to be liberated from this prison, the only vision I had was written in ink dripping crimson, drawn out with a knife where my heart lived, but you had a different plot. A hole to my heart, leaving it sad and jagged. You were responsible for dragging these demons out. I'll always keep the memories of you now. Desperately, you grasped onto me. All the bad memories impacted me greatly. Though you made me feel weak, without you would I even seek to achieve the same things. I try to incorporate positivity, but right now, I just see the glass is empty. It's crazy to believe that negativity has made me. You can call me edgy, but don't start complaining after you've already done the carving. Mom, you're listening, this is the ending. I don't want to hear calls or anything. It'll still be a dreadful memory, but now, moving towards my destiny.
I can mess up, and we've got these wonderful poets to cleanse the room for us, so thank you all. Looks like, yep, we've got an 8.8. An 8.7. 8.9. 8.8. And 9.0. Getting towards the end of this first round. We've just got 3 poets left for you. Up next, we've got Birdie Bachman.
Just the same as any other morning, I'm brushing my teeth and doing my hair. I'm worried and I'm scared of what might be there. School, that's what's scary. The fact that some kid with his family gun might be the reason I don't make it home, don't go to college, don't marry, because he was done. Not caring about anyone, not even himself, giving his classmates up for sacrifice, and when that's not enough, he takes his own life. They will say, people kill, not guns. You tell me, who'll pay? We all will, because you don't want the people to lose the fun of owning a gun because Second Amendment rights. They declare mental health is the true killer, but never want to help the true killer with his mental health because it's a choice, right? School. An institution for educating children. But how can you call us children when you give us such grown-up responsibilities? You let us live in constant fear, expect us to block doors, lock doors, everybody get down. We're afraid of being caught because our tears fall into our classmates' bodies that we caught while they were falling. We come to school to learn, not to take a virtual record of every possible hiding space, not to beware that the ephemeral-styled kid with the word MAGA across his chest might hurt us because he got second place. School, a place I reluctantly come to learn to spell from A to K, count to 47, and to get my homework done, not how to hide from an AK-47 or take school shooting survival 101. You see schools like Freeman, so close to home, you act like you would have never known it would affect your daily life. You seem not to be affected. You seem to be infected by this mindset. You say, hip hip hooray, it's going to be a good day because I own my gun. How about Sandy Hook? Oh, they were just kids. How helpless they must have been. But we're kids too, you know. I know you don't seem interested anymore. Better head to my next class. Hopefully I'll make it past.
We've got 9.4, 9.5, 9.4, 9.6, and 9.2. All right, and up next we've got Kira Lowry.
Is this closing?
I should have twisted the handle and lifted it higher.
Sorry.
It's too short for me to. How's that one?
Sit.
Okay.
Thank you. Here is an ode to Persephone. Her Royal Highness rests upon a throne of discrepancy. What once was pure and as soft as silk, forced into a world of melancholy. Her hands turned raw from climbing her throne. Watch the god of the dead tremble as she once did before him. Watch as she molds her grief the way she molded the spring. Did the dear girl cry out for her mother? Or did she laugh as she picked the pomegranate clean? Does she appreciate her newfound power? Or will she forever resent her husband for holding her in such unholy matrimony? The vines of her vegetation cling to the souls of the dead who cry out, "O dread Persephone, with heart of stone, do you love?" And it's a paradox of sorts, to be such a picturesque vision of rose, to hold death as an extra appendage. Then again, who's to say mortality can't be lovely? Thank you.
Right, so we've got one more poet in this first round, but I want to remind you all that all of these poets have prepared 2 poems. So if some of these poets don't make it into the second round, or when some of them don't, please, if you know and love them, ask them to hear their other poem, because they're just as brilliant as all of the poems we've heard. So they've got more for us, and seek it out. Hear these great poems. And our scores, we've got 9.5, 9.4, 9.0, 9.5, and 9.3. All right, we're bringing it home well. Our final poet for the first half is Abby Willie.
Little sister. I have a little brother and a big sister, so the terms little and sister are words I'm definitely familiar with, just never put together to describe one singular person. On February 23rd, 2022, I said those words for the first time to describe one person. Hush now, little sister. Come here. Lean into my shoulder. I'll be your rock while it seems that your world is falling apart. You're safe now. No need to act like you have everything put together and that you're A-okay, even though you just want to curl into a ball and hide from reality. Your big sister has you. Hush now, little sister. I know, guys suck. Getting your heart broken into a million tiny fragments suck. You know, little sis, when you ask me how do you stop loving someone who you loved for so long, I wish I could have answered for you. That's one of the universe's unanswered questions that I'm looking for myself. Instead of answering you with an honest question, all I could do was open my arms as wide as I could to try and shield you from reality as you cried into my shoulder. So hush now, little sister, I got you. Let it all out. It doesn't seem like it now, but you will be a-okay with or without him. Yes, this hurts now, but in time, rise your head, little sister. Wipe those tears away, little sister. Square your shoulders, little sister, and you'll find you'll be all right. No, you won't die from a broken heart. Quite the opposite. Like a phoenix, you'll rise stronger than before and know not to go down this path, at least to all this pain and misery with another guy. But for now, dear little sis, hush now. Let it all out. Come here. I'll be your rock, I know. Getting your heart shattered into a million tiny fragments suck. In time, little sis, you'll find a guy with your time and effort. Never think that just because I'm going to be 7 hours away in a whole other state an hour ahead of you, that'll be too busy for you. Just say the word, little sister, and blood or not, I'll be gladly driving to your doorstep to take you out just because. So say the word, little sister, and your big sis will be there.
So we've made it to the end of the first half, and we've got to hear from all of these brilliant young people. And after we get the results from our judges, we're going to have a 10-minute intermission, so you can go tell them your favorite part and how much you love them, and get their autographs and shower them with praise and enjoy yourself. And then be back to hear even more poetry. What a night for us. So we have 8.8. 8.7, 8.9, 9.0, and 8.8. All right, I will see you back here in 10 minutes. All right, so welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good break. We've got 7 more poems to hear, so I want to get us moving along. We're going to start out with Bertie Bachman.
As I enter class, my friend tries to pass me a note. I hope the teacher didn't see, because if she did, she'll try and take it from me. It says, "Dear reader, I write this letter in hopes that you will take it seriously." I pause and look to the person who gave it to me. She knows what I'm thinking instantly. She shakes her head. She just read and passed it on. It continues. Over the past year, I have experienced the drama and the trauma you only see in high school. I've been treated the worst by the praised, and the people who are there to protect us just seem to glaze over it. I stop and realize this is the note you see in movies. The notes you see in movies never end how you want them to. I start to read again. It's time to take back my school, put those fools back in their place. Hey, I guess you could say there isn't enough space for them here, there, literally anywhere. Just like Newton's law states, an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. If we don't stop these people now, they will never stop what they're doing. We must end this brewing by ending it all together. In hopes that my efforts aren't in vain, I'll end my pain when I'm done with you. Sincerely yours, he who shall not be named. I knew it. I dropped the paper on my desk. I suddenly hear my hopes crack. Maybe it was a little too loud because the kids in the back can hear it too. As I stand up to alert the teacher, bang! I have no time. I run and hide like everyone taught me to. Thinking everyone else just looks at me, thinking I'm going crazy, until the second shot rang out, bang, like a shepherd and their sheep. The rest of the class huddles around me. I didn't think it would end this quickly. I don't know where he is, so I can't use my phone. I thought I could call home, tell my family I love them one last time. This is it. This could be the deciding factor, not like I dreamed for college. I hand over a piece of my soul. They told me it would be easier. The shooter is the admissions panel addressing my application and deciding whether I live or die.
All right, so during intermission, they explained the scoring to me, so now I can explain it to you. The top and bottom score get removed. So as we're booing the most terrible score, don't worry, it's getting removed. But let's hear what they came up with for us for this time. We've got 9.0. 9.4, thank you. 8.3. 8.8. And another 8.8. And 9.1. All right, now we've got Kira again. Kira Laura.
I want to be art. When I paint walls with words upon words, will they matter to anyone? Over and over again, the years pass and fade into one another, and what do I have to show for it? Scraps of something, sentences meant for the fire, sentences meant for another life. Alarms shouted me to open up my laptop, to write, to read, to inspire, to feel, to create, just do something. My head hurts. I may die at any second. What will I leave behind at the ripe old age of 17? My novelty has expired. It is left buried 6 feet under, along with what could have been. When I make my mark, it won't be a special case. I won't be mature for my age. I will simply be mature. So I'll be old, an elderly 18-year-old, doddering through a valley of words that have lost all meaning, and maybe, just maybe, somebody will pity her. But tell me this, if a self-proclaimed artist breaks down in a forest with nobody around, do they ever make a sound? That's all I want, to make a sound.
We've all got to make some sound tonight, so good job, everybody. And we're ready. We've got 9.2, 9.6, 9.1, 9.5, and 9.2. I think we're getting them over. Next, we've got Eleanor Brown.
Terrifying. You, with your overwatered lawns and your overpowered ponds, it is mystifying. How people just run to you, watching your every move, taking your own personal salary is how they really feel regarding you in the utmost of finality, thinking of your cult-like fantasies as real and ideal. It is baffling how people worship the ground that you vandalize. With your trash and your lies, but you aren't scandalized. This is enough, don't you think? Are you seriously okay with all this fuss, with breaking the trust of the people who love you? And they shouldn't, but they do. I should know, I've been there too, but I walked away. And now you are not lovable, but scary, how untouchable you are. Because these people can't be changed, at least not until they break under your pressure. Fail under your measure. They will never be good enough. They're trying to win you over, but you're not looking. You were over them the second that you saw them in your grasp. Alas, they are trying to impress you. But you are unimpressible. You are unimpressionable. Your only goal is to play games, to press and squeeze until they break, then they go running away. Then you're back to all your tactics, setting up your gingerbread house to fatten them up and pounce, let your Hansel and Gretel followers create their breadcrumb trail, and eventually fail. But you're not seeing the whole picture. You've forgotten the end of the story. Your selfish reasoning has lacked because the oven's in the back.
In the back of your own story, in the recesses of your mind, you know the game is stacked. You will fail. You will not succeed in winning, whatever way you say it. Your resources, they're thinning. Because we're getting stronger. Teaming up like chainmail armor, we've got shields and swords, and you've got nothing but candy floorboards. Who will win, you might ask? Pretty easy question. If you're asking me or her, you're not the writer of our story. Your decisions don't occur. We have beaten you. You're defeated, run away with your forked tail between your legs because we're back and here to stay. You are not scary. You're just afraid.
We've got a 9.4, 9.5, 9.3, 8.9, 9.3, and an 8.8. All right, next up we've got Audrey Marcel.
A 16-year-old girl stares at her phone. I should be doing homework, scrolling through Instagram, screen time 1 hour. I have goals, but scrolling through TikTok, screen time 4 hours. Okay, now I mean it. I'm seriously going to get to work. Scrolling through YouTube, screen time 6 hours. Okay, just one more post and then I'm stopping. Scrolling through Instagram, screen time 7.5 hours. I wish I looked like her. I'm jealous. They don't deserve that. Why am I not like that? Why am I not good enough? She is digging herself into a hole. She can't be told how to rise out of what she's been sold, a life of lies, told to her by herself. A 16-year-old girl stares at her phone. I have to email Mr. Davis about my math assignment. Gmail, screen time 10 minutes. What about Power School? Let me check my grades. Screen time 35 minutes. Looks like I've got a missing assignment for history. I should put on some background music while I finish it. Spotify, screen time 3 hours and 10 minutes. Well, looks like I have some extra time before I head to bed. I'll see what everyone's up to. Scrolling through Instagram, screen time 2 hours and 15 minutes. Wow, I want to be just like them. Cool, my favorite artist just had an album go platinum. Congratulations, commented. That's so cool she was able to go do that. I can't wait for what the future holds. She sees the world with imagination. She's inspired and has aspiration. Social media's impact on your life depends on your approach to it. How you choose to use it. Will you lose it? It is a school day. A 16-year-old girl stares at her phone, scrolling through Instagram, screen time 30 minutes. How come I'm not like her? If I was like that, I would be more social. She arrives at school. Please don't look at me. Why are they looking at me? Don't bring up my late work. Don't bring up my late work. Sorry. They look nice. I should say hi. Never mind, they wouldn't like me. It is a school day. A 16-year-old girl arrives at school. Checking the weather, screen time 2 minutes. Spotify, screen time 20 minutes. I wonder if I'll have the chance to meet any new friends today. That would be fun. I should check on my teacher after class. I hope my speech goes well today. I know I've got this. She arrives at school. Hi, good morning. Hey, do you want to come sit with us at lunch? And that is how the US ended war with Japan. Thank you. Yes, I stumbled a bit, but I did the best I could on my speech. Oh yeah, I can totally stay after class tomorrow and help. Social media's impact on your life depends on your approach to it. How you choose to use it. Will you lose it? Will it impact your life and tear you down? Will you let it rise you up? Your choice. Thank you.
We're getting into the home stretch here. And I think our Judges are ready. We've got an 8.8. We've got a 9.6. A 9.3. 9.1. And a 9.0. All right, and let's give a nice warm welcome for Martin Liu again.
Dear guitar, I really hate you. You are an absolute pain with your pinpricks barbed wire. You're a huge liar with your strings digging into my fingers like blades when you told me there were no strings attached. Sometimes it feels like we're not on the same frequency at all, like when I was trying to learn Opeth's The Drapery Falls. As I lay my fingers on the fretboard to play a minor ninth chord, it feels so majorly wrong as the buzzing of dead notes is like fingernails on a chalkboard. You really were testing me to my limits as my fingers were outstretched across 5 then 6 frets, trying to do splits. This stupid chord, made me want to shred you apart, and when I slide my hand down your neck, it feels like rope burns, but you manage to feel so cold still. Yet, every time I play it right, it strikes a chord in me. So, on the other hand, I love you so much more. When my mind wanders with the free spirit of jazz or the heated passion of metal, you let me express this with no shame, no pressure, even if I'm playing the same thing over and over. Progressions of ugly and dissonant or ethereal and atmospheric bring me to uncharted territory as I'm telling you a funny story, telling you why I'm hurting. Or maybe it's about my favorite band, Between the Buried and Me, or maybe it's just about everything in between. It's a cacophony. No, it's a harmony that really shouldn't exist. But these notes, like you and me, they're intertwined by some forbidden friendship. Even if being around you had once felt like an aneurysm, there's nothing that can bring any sort of schism between us. The songs we create are brought to life as memories that are bound to last forever as your voice becomes music to my ears. And I feel whole. With each callus, each layer of thick skin, I have grown to trust you with my fragile hands and soul. So, to my bandmate, my confidant, and my companion, as I bring you in, I wrap my arms around you in an embrace, since within my heart you have earned such a special place. With each passing minute of hugging you, I feel this rather odd warmth towards you. I mean, back then it wasn't exactly straightforward, but because of what we've created and what we've composed, I know that when I'm walking up on the grand stage of life and I feel anxious of what's unknown, the one thing I know is that I will never have to perform alone. Love, Martin.
Close, guys. We've only got 2 more poems left to hear, and it's kind of making me sad. But I'm thinking about next year, we're going to have even more slams, and hopefully we'll be hearing some of you people at different slam and poetry events around the city. There's so many great places to share your work, and I want to hear more. But let's hear some scores. All right, a 9.8. 9.7. 9.1. 9.8 and a 9.2. Great. Our penultimate poet is E.T. Tobabin.
Let's go for a walk. Just the 2 of us. We can walk around this garden, see what all it has to offer, and then sit over there on that bench. I know the fog is dense, but if you look just over yonder, down right before the water, there's a bench. Now let us walk together in this dreary sort of weather down this path lined with both yellows and reds. Oh, how they fill me with dread. They mean both pain and grief. They make me doubt the belief that the marigolds, they're beautiful, aren't they? Look, I know this isn't bliss, so I'll just come around and say it. Okay, I'm sorry that I left you behind with just your mind. How could I have been so blind? You were struggling, but so was I, and two wrongs don't make a right. I had to leave. I'm sorry, because out of everyone in our family, you were always my favorite. We were the perfect combination of both destruction and creation. Okay, I'm sorry. And out of all the things I wish to undo, the one I wish the most was ever leaving you. You left me first. Not a word, you just vanished, which left me sort of panicked. I know one day you're bound to disappear, but the way you just left me seems so insincere, and just like that, you simply snap right back, standing next to me as if you never left. Now that we're deeper in the garden and I'm feeling like a burden, pouring out all my problems in hopes that you can solve them, just know, while I'm feeling kind of fond, I was saying early on that they make me doubt the belief that you ever loved me. And look, I know the thought is vile, but it's been happening for a while. These thoughts don't go away, so I just let them stay. I grew to hate you. As much as I hate this color, these petunias look so graceful. What they stand for is quite hateful. They're a collage of resentment, because I was always so dependent on you. And the one thing I fail to understand is what made you feel like sand slipping through my fingers, because the thought of you still lingers. I still love you. And while you tried to be replaced, it's just something I need to face. You mean too much to me. As we continue with our walk, I could simply chalk it up to the wind. My eyes are watering. Maybe from all this wallowing in the past that we miss, but I love to reminisce. That's the meaning of pink and purple. They mean to be both thoughtful and kind, all the stems intertwined like we were. And while these pansies are multicolored, we can never distract from all the summers we spent together. Making up for lost time that when you looked me in the eyes, I forgave you for. And while others may disagree, I know you didn't try to leave. They don't know you like I do. Because all the memories we shared, they can never begin to compare for all you've done. I missed you much more than I can describe. Just know I realize all you've done for me. I can see the bench much clearer from here. The flowers around it hold such vibrance, maybe because they're hybrids, or maybe it's what they stand for. The idea of forgiveness is something I live to witness. It's so alluring. Those daffodils. Maybe we'll never get there. Maybe you just don't care. Maybe the thought alone is enough to make you throw everything we had away. So we'll continue to walk the garden, passing by the pattern of pansies, peonies, and red poppies, ignoring what they embody, because that's what you do. And if that's so, then I can do it too. I can pretend nothing is wrong, just so we may prolong the inevitable. The truth that I care too much. The truth that I love you more than anything, and that hurts just like a bee sting. The truth that no matter what I do, you will never love me as much as I love you.
So I know we've been having fun razzing the judges, but they are fantastic, and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys so much for helping us with this, and let's hear what you've got to say. 9.5. 9.1. 9.0. 9.3. And 9.3. All right, bringing us home is going to be Anthony Todd.
Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored sky. Simple words by Nat King Cole, or for those of war, felt in soul. Sky-colored orange because the flag's band of yellow clashes with the reds in the fields out of the blue. Just like Uncle Sam, I want you. Just to listen. Mocking the melting pot they keep dissing. We say idle as Russia makes Ukraine a pot to piss in. Democracy dying, where's the contradiction? I guess you decide the fights if you're the politician. dropping troops everywhere but Ukraine. They don't have NATO requirement, as if the building is already lost to a flame plane contained. Aren't we the firemen? Maybe, but we sound like the ones from Birmingham, Alabama. The only fire we put out is the one of the populace. Play policeman to the world, but once something big comes around, you're on your own stopping this. Oh, we'll just put some sanctions on Russia. We'll hurt their economy. But what happened to the U.S. that fought to protect autonomy? Overnight activists. Click, flash, hashtag, added on. But Ukrainians here are click, flash, now the data's gone. Influencer stories flood with send players traffic. But a country's never been saved by a nice infographic. Casually complaining about climate and erosion, well, my friend Valeri's in Luz, he wakes up to explosions. Behind our clean energy, we gotta catch up to the global, but there's near silence as Russia marches through Chernobyl. Tracking radiation, compromising vigor. They ask about the carbon footprint, not why their footprint's bigger. And as Europe buys Russian oil, I ask, where is the lamb sauce? Not because I'm Gordon, but because the sheep allow a wolf to keep gorging. If this is what we do, when we see wrong, I send my condolences to the island of Taiwan. The people in shock a week later of what just happened, while we're still comfortable about memes of getting drafted. Others celebrate the ghost of Kyiv. Flying ace, yeah, let's give them a medal. But how many ghosts are going to be in Kyiv when all the dust settles? Talks and negotiation. Finding what pieces. 13 Ukrainians wouldn't surrender to a Russian ship. They got blown to pieces. They wanted to end easily. Oh, just fly a dove over with an olive branch and some wine. But the only thing flying over Ukraine are MiGs and Su-39s. Russians after battle. They take a shot of vodka in honor of your courage. That was after taking a shot at Ukraine. One that hit an orphanage. An innocent man, he was rolled over by a tank. Good thing he was saved. Unalienable rights alienated. John Locke rolling in his grave. We're protected by a bunch of amendments. Maybe try making one to keep countries independent. Think about this while you go to sleep. Keep it in the brain. We gotta do something. God help Ukraine.
Let's give another round of applause for all of our poets over here. You guys are fantastic, and I've had so much fun hearing you. I think we've got to get a last set of numbers to respond to. All right. We've got, I think you guys are getting to them, we've got a 9.9. We've got a 10. We've got a 9.5. We've got a 9.4. And we've got a 9.0. So I think now I need to do some math and figure out who I get to give these checks to, because it looks like we're ready to announce the winner. Cool. So when I call the names, I'm going to have the poets come up here, and I get to give them the prize, which was generously provided by our Friends of the Library. So thanks again to the Friends of the Library for providing that. Our third prize winner is Kira Lowry. Is Martin Liu. Our champion, Anthony Todd.